Alright guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at my clown build, also what I like to refer to as the mean green machine. Now, if I was good at editing YouTube, I would have had like flashy colors and it would have came in, but I'm not. Anyways, let's have a look at the video, the build. Okay, what do we got? So I'm currently running Corrupt Intervention, Spirit's Fury, Surge, and Enduring. But before we talk about that, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more educational survivor and killer content. I'd love to walk through a couple of things. I'll pop into the live streams, rest stream DVD 5 days a week, and say g'day to Mr. Puddles, also known as the Clown. Let's talk about the build. Does it follow the 4 basic principles? What are the basic principles? Perk 1, Gen Protection. Perk 2, Situation Awareness. Perk 3, Stall. Perk 4, Utility. Right, what do we have? Gen Protection. Yeah, sure. Situation Awareness. No. Surge. Regression. Great. And optional perk Enduring. So I don't follow the 4 basic principles. I've tailored my build a little differently. Let's have a look. Corrupt Intervention. What does it do? This will seal the 3 furthest away jennies from the point of which I spawn. Based on being a weaker killer and not having a lot of map momentum, this can be really good for me, especially at stopping a 3 gen or, preventing them from working on gens all the way across the board while I have to chase somebody else and gen rushing me into oblivion. Spirit's Fury. What does this do? After breaking 2 pallets, the next pallet that stuns me will automatically break. You heard it. The next pallet that stuns me will destroy itself. Now, by default, that would take, 2.5, 3 seconds? But I have Enduring. Enduring allows me to recover 50% faster from being pallet stunned. So yes, Enduring stacks with Spirit's Fury. So all I have to do is break 2 pallets, and then the next pallet that stuns me, I'll be able to recover almost straight away and go straight onto the survivor. Very strong, very good and efficient at catching people off guard that don't know you have it up. Also good on the pig, as well as people like the Wraith based on the Windstorm lunge he gets out of tier 1, out of ringing his bell, sorry. Alright, what do we have? Surge. Now, I'm running Surge for stability on generators. I refer to this as the mean green fighting machine. This is the build that I love so much on the Clown. Is it his best? Not necessarily. I mean, I like to run Horn of Ground Devour Hope on the Clown for the lethality based on the fact the instant downs with the mind games that you can do with your Moonwalk plays if you play him really well. Let's talk about the Clown's ability real quick. Alright. The Clown has 4 tonics on him. These are bottles. Now, when the Clown goes to throw out the bottle, he will pull his hand back and he will point in a direction. While he is doing this, he receives no movement penalty. Much like the Doctor. When the Doctor is running, charging Static Shock, he receives a penalty. When he's not charging Static Shock, he doesn't have the penalty. But with the Doctor, when the Doctor's running with the bottle out, he's moving at 115% movement speed. When he releases the bottle, unlike the Hatchets on a Huntress, when he releases the bottle, he receives a massive penalty to his movement speed. Why does he receive that? This is because the bottle has a hinder effect of its own. What does the bottle do by default with no add-ons? It will create a massive green smoke. The higher the bottle in the air when it breaks, the larger the cloud. That sounds really weird to explain, but let me explain it to you. If the Clown were to throw a bottle in front of him and smash on the ground, there will be a cloud of smoke. If he were to aim high in a tree and break it on a tree, it'll cover an entire jungle gym. There will be little puddles in areas where survivors can sidestep. However, the initial fall down will pretty much cover the entire jungle gym, allowing you to catch straight away or force the pallet down, much like a 1 puddle Freddy or a 1 snare Freddy, as they call them as well. Keeping in mind, what happens when you're in the smoke? Your character will scream unless you have a perk called Calm Spirits, which will counter the scream. You'll still do the animation. You'll cover your mouth and cough, which you should always do if you cough. That being said, you will receive a penalty for 15% towards your movement speed for 2 seconds after you leave the cloud of smoke. However long you stay in the smoke, you have the penalty on you. The Clown penalty or the smoke will last about 3.5, 4 seconds. This time, the Clown's going to mind game and walk around or push. Remember, if you stay in the smoke the entire time and it expires, you then still have the 2-second penalty on you too. The hinder penalty is 15%. Therefore, a running survivor will be moving at 85% movement speed while the killer's moving at 115. Now, there are add-ons I want to mention out real quick. Remember, numbers I just talked about. 15% penalty and a 2-second penalty when you leave the smoke. Therefore, you've got 15% movement and 2 seconds it'll last. You can run an add-on called the Flask of Bleach. The Flask of Bleach increases the penalty you receive as the Clown, or as a survivor, walking through the Clown's smoke by an additional 5%. This means you will be hindered by 20% rather than 15%. They didn't really mention this, but the Clown received a massive nerf a little while ago when they gave you window momentum, allowing you to shift vault through a window and move through faster. Normally, a Clown could have lunged through and hit you through the medium vault. He can no longer do that as efficiently as possible as he used to be able to do. Therefore, Keeping in mind a 20% penalty hinder, remember how much 5% is in Dead by Daylight. It is a lot. You're pretty much, if you were to moving at 100% movement speed, the clown might as well be moving at 135%. Keeping in mind, 35% difference is phenomenal. The other add-ons I want to quickly point out is the Ether 10 and the Ether 5 and the Ether 15%. Right? So, no, is it the Ether 10%? Okay. The Ether 10% and the Ether 15%. I do not understand why this is called 10% and this is called 15%. Let me explain. When you have this add-on on, rather than it having a 2-second penalty for you leaving the smoke, you receive 2.5 seconds of that movement speed penalty at 15%. So you'll be coughing and you'll be running 15% slower, 20% if I had this. But you'll be running that slower for 2.5 seconds rather than 2 seconds. With this add-on here, it makes it 1 second longer. Yes, they stack together for a 3.5 second penalty at 15%, but this here is commonly known as one of the strongest combos you can do on the clown, bar the pinky and the middle finger and the Solve It Jug, which I'll talk about momentarily. What does this do? This allows you to be hindered an additional 1 second. Now, I don't understand why this is a 1 second hinder and this here is a 0.5 second hinder. That's 15%. Shouldn't that be called 20% and that should be called 10%? Or that should be 7.5% and that should be 15%? See, the wording is a little off-putting there. So this means when you leave the clown smoke, you receive a 3-second penalty at 20% movement slow. You're not going to be able to loot that as clown. You're going to be throwing the pallets straight away. Now, keeping in mind, without these add-ons, you're all about forcing down jungle gyms and pallets as quickly as possible. You can run Bamboozled on the clown. The issue with the clown, a huge debuff he has, is when he vaults a window, he makes a really loud grunt. He goes, grrr, when he goes through. And that's really easy to hear and tell if he goes through the window or if he's got a mind game and go back through the window. There's no counterplay to it. You cannot quieten the grunt when you play the clown. The Trapper has a similar thing, but he doesn't yell out, I'm going through a window, like the clown. The Trapper, you can hear the rubber on his apron when he goes through the window as well. People like the Spirit don't have a sound indicator. So unfortunately, our friend here, Mr. Puddles, does have that debuff. I did main clown for a little while too, so I know a lot of the numbers. I want to quickly point out another add-on for you guys called the Solve It Jug. This forces exhaustion. With the Solve It Jug, anyone that walks through your smoke cannot use Dead Hard, cannot use Balance Landing, cannot use Life, cannot use anything. However, obviously Adrenaline trumps Solve It Jug. It is probably one of the strongest add-ons in the game that is yellow. Alright, you've got things like the Primer Bulb, don't get me wrong, but this here is so strong because you don't have to hit a survivor for it to activate, much like the Toxin that the Huntress has. It's just a cloud of smoke, which is really easy to land. Keeping in mind, it'll force the exhaustion and they'll have to walk for 30 seconds for that debuff to activate. Anyways, back to the build. Surge is going to allow me to regress multiple generators in an area around me when I downed a target. Keeping in mind, I have no information perk here, therefore I don't have barbecue and chili. I don't really recommend this clown build to an inexperienced clown player, based on the fact there's no form of tracking. You've got to use your map movement, your map momentum to understand movement or tracking. You could easily replace Spirit's Fury for barbecue or thrill and get rid of enduring and brutal for brutal strength and respect pallets based on the hinder penalty. If the guy tries to bait you out, you can wait and then run through and catch him if he was hindered, keeping in mind he won't be able to make another loop unless he has Dead Hard. So there's other ways to build your clown. I like to go for the Moonwalk M1s through pallets to take the stun to then catch the guy through Spirit's Fury, right? That's how I like to play my clown, a little differently. I also like lethality instant down clown. However, this is what I run, especially for a hoot and a great time. I love running the full green build. It doesn't work on any other killer anywhere near as good, but believe it or not, it works on the Spirit. Keeping in mind she's 110% movement speed and there are other builds on the table that are better. This is a fun build everybody can run if you have the right teachable perks. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it. It's going to be a nice short video for the clown. And honorable mentions as well. Save the best for last. Remember, when you hinder a survivor, if I were to hinder you, and then M1 you, rather than getting 150% movement speed, you suffer the penalty from the smoke, remember. So if I have Ether, not really Ether, but in fact Ether's a perfect example. If I have Ether 15%, that means the hinder will last for 3 seconds. When you're hit with an M1, you get the sprint burst for 3 seconds. And if I were to be running Flask of Bleach, that's 20%. Rather than sprint bursting away for 3 seconds while you take the M1, you run away at 120% movement speed. Remember, if I have 8 stacks to save the best for last, I'm going to recover and be right behind you in that time. I'm moving at 115% movement speed. You're moving at 120. You're 5% faster than me. So keep that in mind. You can catch up to people pretty good if you're good with your clown bottles. Something I really want to point out that people don't know about the clown, your bottle, direct impact, cancels animations. Now, it doesn't cancel like a vault animation, but it will cancel a hook save. Somebody's going for a hook save, and you hit them with a clown bottle, that will stop them from doing it. So if you, for whatever reason, are under hook, and the guy's getting saved, and he's doing one of those freaking, I'm gonna grab him, I'm gonna run to the other side, grab him, I'm gonna bait, I'm gonna try and get you to hit. If you direct impact him with a bottle, you can then pull another bottle out straight away, direct impact him again, another bottle out straight away, so if he's waiting to the last second, you can do that to counter his last second save. Shouldn't really be under the hook for that, but just keep in mind, you can also do the exact same thing to stop them from completing a generator if they're trying to do an adrenaline play. There's a lot of different cheeky plays around it. It is a higher tier gap kind of skill thing to do with the clown, but just wanted to mention it as well because I'm sure there's a lot of clown mains out there that are going to be thinking, oh yeah, I know how to do that too, Goose. But remember, aim high with your jungle gyms when you're going to be releasing a bottle, and watch how much larger the cloud of smoke is too. You also obviously have add-ons that allow you to instantly down a survivor if you throw the bottle. That being said, the clown throws the bottles really weird and unique. He doesn't throw it like a huntress does with the hatchet. With the huntress hatchet, she does a small loop. With the clown, he does a large loop. So if you want to throw in front of you, you got to aim down a little bit. So it's a little odd. You're lining up. It's not like a crosshair in the middle of your screen. It's off to the side a little bit as well. But just a little bit of practice, and you'll be able to do it in no time. And then you've obviously got the tattooed middle finger, which is when anyone runs through your smoke, their aura is revealed to you for 6 seconds, allowing you to do some insane jungle gym mind games if you know how to play clown really well. Also, both the pink add-ons, keep that in mind. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'm going to be doing more educational survivor and killer content in the near future. I hope you guys pop in, and you guys can pop into the live streams where I stream DBD 5 days a week. If you like the video, guys, let me know, and tell me your favorite clown build. Do you actually play clown? Do you think clown is too strong? Would you like to see clown with a bit of a rework? I personally think he's actually a fun killer, but it could use a little bit of a tweak. Keeping in mind, the clown only has 4 bottles. When he is out of bottles, you need to hold the control key, and then you'll cook up another concoction of bottles on the spot rather than having to search a locker like a huntress. But guys, GG's. I will see you in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.